All right, let's do it. A Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast post-game show. Big win over the Vancouver Canucks. Robyn and I are here to break it down right now.
You are Locked On Utah Hockey Club, your daily podcast on the Utah Hockey Club, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everyone, and welcome in to a live post-game show version of the Locked On Utah Hockey Club. Get your questions in the chat right now. We love hearing from you. Last night, same thing. It was a great post-game show, so we're doing it again tonight. I'm longtime NHL voice Tom Callahan, joined by longtime team analyst Robyn Leaño. Spaceman's already fired up, Robyn. I think we got a bunch of people in the chat who are going to be fired up because this win, 2-1 over Vancouver, is huge for several reasons, which we will outline. But, I mean, Robyn, you got to beat teams that are around you in the standings. Vancouver is in the crosshairs, and they get the job done tonight.
I mean, as things stand, I think Vancouver still is in the second wild card spot, right? And like that's what you chase after, right? You chase after those spots. You look at what you can get, see how whatever way you can gain those extra ground and points, and doing it in regulation, Tom, is all that more important.
Yes, absolutely huge. And we're going to talk about regulation wins and then the row column, regulation and overtime wins. We'll explain all that if that's new to you. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Well, Robyn, if you would have took the under tonight, you would have hit it. We talked about the FanDuel odds before the game, 5.5 on the over-under. It was a low-scoring game. It was a low-shot game. Vancouver, actually, I was pretty surprised because they came in. They're a much better road team by the record this year than they are at home. So I figured, okay, this is going to be a battle. And Utah is actually a better road team as well. So we're familiar with that. But two things tonight that were important to me. Number one, they have to start winning at Delta Center, right? They have to start winning on home ice. And again, they beat a team that they need to beat. But let's talk about Delta Center and that home ice advantage. First of all, it was crazy in there tonight. And when Dylan Guenther tipped that game winner home late in the third period, I thought the roof was going to come off.
Oh, no, absolutely. And I think that's kind of the atmosphere you want, right? It only brings in that extra oomph to the team, right? They're looking for that level of energy. They feed off of that. It makes them feel it. Games in the future, they're looking forward to playing games at home if the crowd is that way, and it just gets that momentum that they need.
Absolutely. Quick and easy scoring wrap for us tonight, Robyn, because there were only 3 goals to talk about. Believe it or not, Vancouver opened the scoring in this one, 1:43 into the second period. It was a power play goal for Jake DeBrusk, his 21st from Pettersson and Suter. That was 1-0. But then here's what I like. I talked about this in my pregame keys, shifts after goals. I said it was huge for Utah, and they come back 2 minutes and change later. Logan Cooley scores. So now it's Utah flipping that script. Cooley's 16th from Marino and Keller, his 42nd assist already. And we'll talk about Keller again in a minute because in the third period at 14:07, the power play goal, Gunther with a beautiful tip. Redirect right in front of the paint, just inside the post. 21st of the year, fantastic. Schmaltz and Keller, the assists on that one. So power play goal goes for the game winner. Special teams war was another pregame checkbox that I had. Shots by period, this is what I liked. 11, 11, and 10 for Utah. That's good. That's average. 32 shots in the game. How about this, Robyn? For Vancouver, 4 in the first, 4 in the second, 7 in the third. I love that.
You know, it's absolutely crazy because, like, I think it was like halfway through the second period, I wasn't even paying attention to the shot counter on the TV broadcast up until like that in that moment. And I think at that point it said like 20-7 or something like that. And I'm like, that can't be right. That cannot be right. But it was. And I'm like, oh my God. Like either A, Vancouver's not playing well, or B, or it could be a mix of both on this case, but or B, the Utah's defense is just playing well, just keeping Vancouver Canucks from being able to get those quality shots on.
And that is such an amazing thing that it's kind of funny. And Robyn, I'm looking for them because I want to see if I kept my pregame keys to the game. I would love to have those back right now. Because I do. Let's see if I can get this back up real quick, because for the first time, it's not like we don't know what we're talking about sometimes, but for the first time, they actually checked all my boxes on keys to the game. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get, well, that's not the right one. I don't think I'm going to be able to get up here, but let me just tell you what the keys were, Robyn. Mm-hmm. Shifts after goals was number 1. Shore up the D zone was number 2. And win the one-on-one battles was number 3. And I think that Utah Hockey Club did that. I'm very excited for the effort tonight. Shoring up the D zone is huge because, we just saw them put Valimaki on waivers. We know that they've been paring down that D core, but now they're kind of getting back to the 6 that they want to have. That's exciting too.
Yeah, really, it's a bit of a fresh air, kind of figuring out or knowing what this squad's supposed to look like at healthy. At first, I'm pretty sure a decent amount of us are going to be a bit, but now we see these other players playing, playing part in this defense. It's nice to have Sergachev fire. This is what I wanted, Tom. This is what I wanted to see.
Yeah, this is absolutely what we've been trying to ask for the whole time. Merck says Utah was really in control most of the night. I think the numbers just bear that out. And it's not hard to see tonight the way it was. Arthur Sheelov's played very well. Vancouver's goaltender kept him in the game. But, it just really was that kind of night. The only thing I found interesting tonight, also in the numbers, there weren't a lot of takeaways, but Vancouver had no takeaways. And the giveaways, it was 19-15 more for Utah, but those still weren't very high. It was also not much of a hitting contest, 25-19 in favor of Vancouver. So kind of looking at those numbers, it was 2 teams that worked hard, battled against each other, Robyn, but it didn't turn into a huge parade to the box. There was enough power plays to keep it interesting, right? 4 in a game. Okay, that's fine. It never really felt like either one of these teams was going to lose control. Like Vancouver got super frustrated at all. I thought they battled hard to the end, and that's a good hockey team over there.
It felt like the flow, it was a really good flowing hockey game, is the best way to put it. Like it felt like there wasn't just these lulls of these crazy penalty minutes, and it just looked like it was a bombardment on one. The team just absolutely struggling. I mean, if you look at some of the stat sheet, it almost will look like Utah had a decent amount in their favor. But eye test, Tom, it definitely looked pretty even.
It definitely did. All right. Want to talk a little bit more about, we'll get inside the numbers here on this one. And also we're going to take a look at that out-of-town scoreboard, tell you what it means for Utah. And Dylan Guenther, 6 game-winning goals now. He is in the top 10 in the NHL in that stat. So that is pleasant. We're going to talk about Gunther and the year he's having as well. Plus, we are going to take your questions. So don't get me wrong, but I'm interested to get Robyn's take on the new look revamped defense here, because we haven't had a chance to chat about this yet. So why don't we go ahead? We're going to take a very quick break. We'll come right back here in just a minute. And today's show is brought to you in part by Wonderful Pistachios. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, which is 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you feel fuller longer. I'm a no shells guy. We talk about this. I like to snack at work. Especially because I don't have a predetermined lunch hour. So it's kind of, if I get to lunch, I get to lunch. If I don't, I don't. Got to kind of work my way through it. And I love the protein. Don't have to eat, a ton at a time. And again, it does help you keep full. It's a good protein-packed snack. Plus, no shells, no mess in my desk. Little shells escaping under my chair or under my desk, never to be seen again. I don't have to worry about that. But if you love cracking open the shell, hey, more power to you. The in-shell is a classic favorite. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Marshall, hello. Welcome into the post-game show here. Tom Callahan, Robyn Leaño. Hey, if you're here, number one, do us a favor. Tell your friends about this. If they don't know about the show yet, let's talk about it and discuss it with them and bring them in, and we'll make them all converts to the Locked On Empire. And Robyn and I will absolutely entertain all of your questions, your thoughts. You can reach out to us on social media, but give us a subscribe, a follow, the old thumbs up on the YouTube side to help the algorithm go in both ways here. So thanks for being with us. Robyn, I want to collect some more of your thoughts here on this win, because yesterday, and both teams played on the road yesterday. Vancouver was in Vegas. Utah at the Kings, a game that was a disappointing loss, I think, to say the least, because you're technically also chasing LA. But Vancouver, out of the two games on the weekend, if you say to me, Tom, which one of these do you want to win? I think it's definitely tonight.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, I like to say anytime you face the Kings, you feel like there is the, everybody hates LA, you want to beat them kind of thing.
Beat LA.
Yeah, the whole beat LA. No matter where you go, you're going to hear those chants. And it's great. I love that kind of atmosphere. But, again, that was in LA. And But you're right. I think the win against Vancouver, it means all that more important for a couple of reasons. One, as we already talked about, it was a home game. It was back at the Delta Center. So on the home ice, you want to be able to prove that, hey, we can win on our home ice. We can showcase to our fans what we can do. But also it really is Vancouver being right there in that wild card spot. They are the team to chase right now.
Let's take a look at how everybody fared tonight on the out-of-town scoreboard. Everybody is now final. So we'll update the standings here in just a second for you. But Caps 7-3 over the Oilers. Ovechkin, 3 goals. He's 15 away from Gretzky. I mean, that's big news. I was wondering if he was going to get 18 this year. Then he goes out, drops a hat trick today, and I'm like, okay, Ovi, all right, maybe you will. Let's see what else. Rangers bounce back after a big loss to Buffalo. They beat the Penguins 5-3. Red Wings 5-4 over the Ducks in overtime. 4-1 Lightning over the Kraken. 3-1 Blues over the Avalanche, so the Blues are keeping pace. 5-0 double shutout the Preds. Leafs 5-2 over the Blackhawks. Stars 4-3 over the Islanders. That was in regulation. 3-2 Flames over the Sharks, so that's a big win for Calgary in the wildcard race. And, of course, 2-1 in our game there. So, Robyn, unfortunately, on a night when Utah Hockey Club takes care of business, a lot of the teams in front of them did as well. Calgary won. Vancouver obviously did not. But, and St. Louis is staying right there. Anaheim is staying right there. So it's going to be this is shaping up to actually be kind of a fun stretch run, isn't it?
Oh, it will be, and to me, and I think that's the reason why I put in the title for this live postcast here as the wild card chase heats up, because these teams that are in the hunt, in the wild card hunt, they are battling every single one, and all the teams you mentioned, they will fight, and they will surely make it interesting. I can't wait to see how all this turns out once we get closer to the trade deadline, and then after the trade deadline, Tom, which we'll get to in depth as we approach that over the next couple of weeks.
We absolutely will. So right now, Vancouver remains in that final wild card spot, 63 points. Calgary at 62, nipping at their heels. Utah 59, and then St. Louis 58, Anaheim 57, and Seattle. I'll keep them in there for now till they fall out, but they're 54. That would take a lot of things going right for the Kraken to be able to make it in. But I mean, Utah now is sitting 4 points back of the wild card. That's a good spot.
Hey, it does. It is a really good spot to be in. It shows that it is really in reach, right? We still have what is that now? So 58 games played. So it feels like only a handful of games left, right? We have an 82 game season. and I got to figure out the math here. What is that? Like 20, 24 games.
24. There's 24 games left.
Yes, 24 games left for the Utah Hockey Club.
Yes. And
so, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Jinx, you owe me a beverage. I will take a very nice cup of coffee. I can be bribed with coffee if anybody's curious. So, okay, let's talk about that, Robyn, because do you remember, if I rewind this a little bit, but I said the stretch between basically the end of January and the trade deadline where they had 10 of 14 at home was going to define their whole season. It's not been the smoothest ride, but taking a look at the schedule here, here's what's coming up. So now it is Tuesday, Chicago, and Chicago is struggling, and they're probably going to trade Seth Jones relatively soon. Then Minnesota on Thursday. Honestly, I'm not sure who the Wild are these days, and I don't know if they're sure who they are. And then Saturday, New Jersey. New Jersey is a team ahead of where you are in the standings that is going to be good competition. That's the rest of the homestand. Then you've got two huge road games, the 6th and the 7th, at Detroit, at Chicago, back-to-back. So the 10 of 14 at home ends on March 1st. Now, there is 6 points left in front of you. And to this point, you are 2-1 at home. Actually, 1-1 if you want to get, well, no, it's 2-1. They did win in overtime against Philly. It's an overtime win, which we're going to talk about. Please remind me. I want to explain that. But Robyn, I mean, right now, does Utah still have a chance to pull it out of the fire at home? It is so important. And again, we talked about it, winning at the Delta Center. They've got to become more familiar at it. Do you feel like they have a chance now with this?
I feel like they do. It's going to be a difficult chance because, as I mentioned, all these teams are going to heat up because they have, they're in similar situations. They're in similar spots in which come around that trade deadline. Some of them might go in for the buy side and pick up some pieces. So, might not be the smartest. Go beyond.
Okay, it looks like we might have lost Robyn for a second there. So I'm going to keep this rolling here. Robyn, come back, Robyn. She will. Don't worry about it. Do you want to say, Josh? I see what you're saying. Big change with Durzi back, and we hear you, Robyn. We hear you. We don't see you. Big change with Durzi back. Josh saying, and I agree with that. Huge change, and we're going to get Robyn's opinion on this. And we're going to talk a little bit about what she sees with the defense now. But the other thing I thought was a comment from Spaceman saying, really hope we can get a contract extension for Veggie. Veg has earned it. And again, they're talking. We just have to find out if it's going to come to fruition or not. And that's going to be a big one too. So while we're kind of fixing everything back up here, I'll tell you what we're going to do is we're going to grab a quick break. And then on the other side of it, we will come back and hopefully Robyn will have the internet issues ironed out here. So I'm going to go ahead, Robyn, and take care of that side of things while she's trying to get all that straightened out. So hang tight. We'll be right back. All right. And today's show is also brought to you in part by FanDuel. Now, when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on it than FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off, you can bet on that fourth quarter comeback, see if the Jazz are going to come back in, or you can stay in the action. You're looking for a bigger payout, maybe? Well, then you can combine your live bets into a same-game parlay. I'm a big fan of the live betting feature because it keeps every moment in the game exciting. Even in games when, you're wondering if maybe you are going to see a late rally from the Jazz or the team they're beating at the time, whoever it might be. Maybe you're going to pick a player to hit a clutch 3 down the stretch, or maybe somebody to get a triple-double. You never feel like you missed your chance. Plus, the app is easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly, which is awesome. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Okay, looks like we have a Robyn back here.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Thank you. I feel like my internet's decided to just have issues at this perfect time. You gotta love it, right? Gotta love technology. Gotta love
making our lives easier all the time. Oh no, we have a Robyn freeze again. It's like brain freeze, but Robyn freeze. And Robyn, I want to get your opinion here on the defense. Okay, I think you're back. Robyn, I want to get your opinion on the new look defense with Durzi back. Obviously, a lot of folks in the chat fired up about having Durzi back, but now that they're kind of settling in on that top six, I mean, there's plenty of reason for excitement.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And to me, it feels like I'll continue to use this term, a breath of fresh air, right? Because all this entire season, we did not know what a full defense would look like, what the actual defense with this team would be, even though before the season we thought, oh, this is what it would look like. You and I, Tom, hyped this defense up in the preseason because of Sergachev and Durzi and Marino and Cole and Cole. Those, most of them being acquisitions over the offseason. On top of having, the other suspects that they brought in the course of this season to kind of fill those gaps, those proved to be important additions. And now, Tom, what makes this really interesting is seeing how this is turning out with what Utah sees as the future for this defense. And you mentioned it in the pregame show, and I'm just going to bring, and I'll go ahead and bring it up kind of on that thought about that with the putting Juuso Valimaki on waivers. And was it a surprise? A little bit, but at the same time, I can't blame Utah for this at this point, because they have so much skill and talent up on that blue line that they have to figure out what's going to be best for the squad. And from what it feels like is having those that I mentioned, as well as like Olimata on there, is like to me it feels like and Michael Kesselring and a few others, like that's what it feels like. This is your defense.
So the D that were dressed tonight, I did want to take a look at the minutes for the D. So you had Sergachev, Durzi, Cole, and Kesselring, Marino, Mata. That's your current top six, and it looks like it's going to be your top six. Somebody actually asked head coach Andre Tourigny at practice a couple of days ago if he was planning on making changes here and there after games, and he said, no, if my lineup is good and I think it's my best lineup, why would I rotate it? Mm-hmm. So that makes sense. So if this is your top six, this is where we're at. Now, Sergachev was a horse tonight, 25-10 time on ice, 5:38 on the power play, which is wild, and 3:31 shorthanded. So those are hard minutes, but when you're 26 and you're in shape, I guess you can do it. But I wanted to look. So Durzi, 18:59. That's actually among the least time on ice except for Kesselring. They really ran 5D heavily. Kesselring he got a total of 9 seconds between power play and shorthanded. Everything else for him was even strength, 12 minutes. But Mata, 18:35, Marino, 18:53, Durzi, 18:19, and Ian Cole, 20:25. The reason I bring those up is, and obviously the Kesselring minutes go to Sergachev. That's the disparity there. But now what it's doing, Robyn, is it's balancing it out, and you don't have to overextend Cole. You don't have to overextend Mata. You don't have to overextend Marino. Any of these guys. With Durzi back, it is a much more comfortable distribution of the minutes. And if Sergachev does need to sit down, he's got backup.
Yeah, even though we didn't see very many of these kind of games at all, now you never have to worry about any kind of defenseman playing 30 plus minutes in a given game, because of the way that Utah is able to balance out the talent across the blue line, and I like that. I like that we're at this point, and it couldn't be happening at what you called, Tom, a more crucial part of the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's big right now to get the defense in line. Although, again, I don't think they're done yet. Remember, Bortuzzo is still hanging out there. And they've got some bumps and bruises, but right now they also have depth. And we'll see if Valimaki makes it through waivers or not. 3 stars tonight, by the way. They finally got those up there for us. 3rd star, Nick Schmaltz. 2nd star, Clayton Keller with a couple of assists. And 1st star, Dylan Guenther with that game-winning goal. Deserved all the way around. But let's not look past Vejmelka. I know only 15 shots tonight, 14 of 15. No shutout for Veg. But again, Robyn, what you want from your goaltender, any goaltender, give us the saves that we need and give us 1 or 2 that we don't quite deserve. Give us 1 or 2 really cool, magical saves tonight, and everything else, rebound control was good. I thought defense, the control of the front of the net was good. I really like Utah's game tonight. I'd love to see more of that.
Oh, absolutely. And it's nice, having someone, who is especially someone between the pipes who's competent means all that more too, right? For a while, I think that was an issue that early Utah had at that point in late October, all throughout November, as well as what this squad used to be, the Arizona Coyotes. We saw a decent amount of that in the previous past and the years, in the many years before, is confidence between the net. Sometimes they would just fall apart, and they would just go and we see a massive drop in confidence, and that's not what we're seeing anymore. We're seeing the complete opposite. Really confident, poised between the pipes.
Yes, absolutely. Matt says, let's go get that veggie extension. And David says, Durzi back in the mix was a game changer. He is a next level hockey player. Huge win tonight. Several players having huge games. And again, doing it at home at Delta Center is key. So, Robyn, I know that, and Spaceman says, can't overlook how nice it was to have Cooley back as well. Yes.
That's true. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, it was nice to get Cooley back there. You know what? What's nice is to heal your bumps and bruises. 4 Nations might turn out to be the biggest blessing in hindsight, right? I mean, Utah got to rest a bunch of guys, get some guys healthy, maybe heal some things up.
It's funny because you and I went into 4 Nations break very critical, not wondering and being very worried about what A, the tournament would look like, and B, what things would look like on the other side. And all of a sudden, all our opinions just went completely upside down in a whole different direction. But you know what? I am here for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. All right, next game's coming up Tuesday against Chicago. 7:00 puck drop on that one. Robyn and I have a pregame for you dropping on Tuesday. But Robyn, any final thoughts as we wrap up this weekend here in this big win against Vancouver?
No, I just say just keep the confidence up to all the Utah Hockey Club fans out there. This team has a huge couple of weeks ahead of them. Trade deadline's coming up. Keep an eye out on some of our trade deadline content. We'll have a lot. We'll have maybe some episodes on trade targets going the other direction on who Utah should be seeking after.
Absolutely. They played their way into the conversation. So now we'll see what Bill Armstrong's got up his sleeve. That should be interesting. So looking forward to that. Hey, if you need advice on your fantasy hockey team, check out our Locked On Fantasy podcast. They can help you out. I know it's almost playoff time in fantasy hockey. So even in the deeper leagues, they can help you comb the wire, find someone who might be able to put you over the top. So check them out as well. So Robyn, where can everybody find us on the social media front?
Yeah, on social media, you can find the podcast just about everywhere on X/Twitter, on Instagram, on Threads, at LO_NHL Utah. You can also find us on TikTok and Blue Sky at Locked On Utah Hockey. I am personally at Robyn_Leaño. That's Robyn_Leano. Odds on X and on Blue Sky at Robyn Ice Time.
You can find me on Blue Sky at Tom Talks. That's where I'm spending most of my time these days. I do still have my X account up for the time being at Callahan on air, but catch me over at Blue Sky. Car Wash, by the way, has already guaranteed an easy win against Chicago on Tuesday. So we have that to look forward to as well. So, all right, everybody, we appreciate you joining us, and thanks for being a part of the live post-game show. You guys are enjoying these, so we'll try to squeeze out a few more of these as the season goes along, especially into this playoff chase here. And we'll definitely look forward to creating more great content for you. Thanks for tuning in to the Locked On Utah Hockey Club podcast.